Hello and welcome to the AEL Rainbow Six Siege Uni Cup presented by Chatime. I'm Spudoom, with me is Midnight, and we're here to bring you this best of two match for our round 3 of this exciting tournament so far. Some familiar faces are going to be on stream today, just maybe not where you expect them to be, and of course some players returning from last season as well. So it's going to be a banger of a match.
Yeah, an exciting way for, I believe this is round 3 for Group B down here between two pretty strong teams. Looking at the paper of it is, of course, going to be UNSFW, which is basically just from the side of New South Wales, facing off against Melbourne Uni's Arctics. So it should be quite an exciting two maps we do get to see, as the players did take a look at the different options they had available to them, right? And specifically looking at in terms of just the maps, right? There's a lot of different things they had to pick and choose. Okay, what do we want to deal with? What do we not want to deal with? And the decisions that they've ended up making, Spud, have been pretty, I think they're pretty fun. Like, I love the maps that we do end up getting for today's matches.
Yeah, that's right. We do have everyone's favorite map, Oregon, making a comeback. That's going to be the third time we've seen this map so far in this tournament. But instead of a clubhouse, we're going to be seeing Villa for once, actually. Villa is one of those really big open maps with lots of different ways of approaching it, and it's very much more forgiving. So definitely going to be interesting compared to some of the more mini-game focused gameplay that we see on Oregon. But enough about maps. Let's take a look at the players themselves. From the side of UniMelb Arctics, we have Drew Obi from Tayo Esports, so another Challenger League, or at least from LPL competitions. We have Pinyin, Huang, and also Croissant. These are players who have actually played for a while. I believe they were in last season, and they did actually make it to the playoffs. So overall, a very, very strong team as well. Unfortunately, we don't have some of the bans from or operators for some of these players, but overall, it looks like a very well-rounded team here.
A little bit of everything that you want to bring to the table for both offense and defense. You know, you look at the namestays, right? You look at the likes of the Jaeger, the Sophia, hell, the Ash, and the Cade. It's about what you'd expect from there. Of course, facing off against them is going to be the likes of UNSFW, which we can get to bring up. It's going to be Borky Bork, which is probably one of the best names I've ever seen in my 6 years of casting. Fluffington, Rappel, sorry. Swaith Shape, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Sort Shape.
And of course, Root. I'm just going to go Root because that is one of the most... I think he had a lot of fun with his caps lock when he was making that name there.
Yeah, I have insider knowledge. It's actually pronounced Rooty Zoo. Rooty Zoo, or Rudy as we tend to call him. Interesting name, and definitely some interesting players here. They've been around for as long as I can remember. I've, been around the scene for a number of years, and even when I was playing, which was actually a while ago, these guys were playing as well. So definitely a team that has, has the chemistry there. They know how to play together, and so definitely going to be expecting them to be doing very well. Also, of course, we have Rappel there on the board. She's going to be actually playing instead of observing, so make sure to keep an eye out for her as well. But enough of that. Let's just take a brief look at the ladder as we look at how these teams so far have been doing. I don't quite remember who was at the top, so drum roll, everyone.
RMOT Black has been doing particularly well for themselves, as we do get to bring it up there, standing at the top of the tables. But the dropouts, of course, equalizing their points, have got something to say against that one. And of course, we do have our two teams competing in our match here, holding it down that third and fourth slot here. And of course, trailing up the rear is Murdoch University as well as Griffith Red. So a bit divides these teams, but this is still early days, right? This is where the teams need to start breaking away from each other. And the fight for middle here between UNSFW and, of course, the Arctics is sort of where we'll see that split between the middle packing groups right now.
That's right. And of course, when it comes to predictions, I have to say that UNSFW will win. I will always cheer for UNSW, no matter what. No bias there at all. And I'm not actually sure. What do you think, Midnight? What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm going to be biased as well. I'm in Melbourne. I don't think I have much of a choice here. I've kind of got to go for the Arctics in this one here, and I'm feeling confident.
Well, I guess we'll have to find out now as we go right into our first map. It will be Oregon, UniMelb on the attack at UNSFW on the defense here. First, best of two. So, of course, you do get more points for winning 2-0. If it's a 1-1 draw, you do get a point each. So these teams will be looking to make a decisive victory here. UNSFW first to ban here. Taking their time, just thinking through the options. Drew.nr has left his microphone on, so hopefully we don't hear his comms throughout the entire game. But it will be a Nomad ban, first to be removed off the board from UNSFW.
Yeah, and it's not too odd to see the likes of the Nomad up there, right? Like, there are so many, there's the quote-unquote defaults. You can look at the likes of, Jack. There's so many things you want to kind of get rid of here. Like, we just saw them hovering before. The Jackal is always something to look at there. Of course, we're looking at the other side. That's going to be a Thatcher. What a surprise to see Thatcher taking a nap on the bench.
Well, Thatcher definitely makes attacking so much easier, so I'm not surprised that either team chooses to take that out of the map pool. Mirror will be the next one, of course, another standard, but of course that does leave out the Jackal, and we'll have to see whether UNSFW will choose to remove the Kaid off the board as well. They will do so. No electric calls here. So apart from the Nomad ban, otherwise, your standard ranked bans. But hopefully they will bring out something a bit different on their setups and also their way they attack. And I have a feeling with the Flores on the board, we might be seeing some interesting rollouts here.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to also remember is it was Melbourne Uni that did pick Oregon as their map of choice, right? They said this is the one we really want to rock with out of what was available. And taking a look there, the Flores has been picked up as the swaps come through. Aruni, what a surprise, right? Aruni is just, I think she's ridiculously good for everything that she brings to the table when it comes to a defensive lineup.
Yeah, definitely. Those gates are going to be really helpful for blocking some of the utility that comes in that big window. And as well, just slowing down the attackers when it comes to that trophy site as well. And looking at the utility, there's just so much available for UniMelb. They've got not just the Flores drones, but of course the Yana and the Sophia. You don't see her as much these days, but when she is on the table, definitely a really, really strong entry pick, especially with that LMG. On the side of the defense, though, we do have Fluffington on the smoke with the FMG. It's a bit of a new thing now that players have more options for opening rotates, especially with the Rooney on board. So going to be looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, the double British operators, and what a surprise to see likes of also Valkyrie also hitting their stride, and of course the Jaeger for that extra bit of protection as they have setting themselves up for. And now the attack. Yeah, this battle of the spawn peeking, getting rid of those early cameras, making sure you don't get caught by any early peek outs, because it is very, very easy to do on this map in particular. There's so many little angles you can like, hey, I'm just going to do a little bit of a poke out, see what we can find. Obviously, nothing coming of it yet, as Melbourne Uni set up their attack, and two people basically already at the finish line with the droning starting out already.
It's going to be a master bedroom take, so definitely going to be opening up that wall. My only question is whether they're going to choose to open attic as well or forego that entirely. Recently, we do see teams choosing not to use that attic at all. I'm finding it just very, very difficult to push. So we'll have to see whether they choose to do that. But it will be a single player, two players actually going for that attic wall. So I may have spoken too soon. Maverick Torch now opening up the bottom of that wall, Pinion holding a tight angle through it. There may be a player challenging it, but so far, no lines of sight and no picks as we are 2 minutes remaining on the clock.
Yeah, offense obviously taking its time. Oh, we're seeing some pushes out there, but I think that's just posturing, trying to flush out any defense coming through here. So obviously it is Borky has taken a bit of a hammering there, but so far Maverick has finally made an opening. This could be Melbourne Uni's, one of the first areas I look for is the grenades come out from the Sophia just to see if they can clear out anything. But I think Borky should be... No, Borky goes down, actually.
Borky is taken down now. The intel hasn't come through that. Rudy Zoo looking to peek back, but Sword is able to pick one up. Rudy now holding this angle with another player supporting. Pre-firing coming out. Fluffington manages to cross, but Rudy Zoo has to backtrack now. He knows there's pressure from this trophy side and is holding it close. Grenades now being cooked. Maybe going for this attic player, or actually Rudy Zoo, who does actually survive. Pre-fires come out, but so far it looks like the attack has stalled down a little bit. Bork has been picked up, but he is stuck in a very, very difficult position at the moment.
Yeah, but it looks like another one has fallen to Flores, making its pain worthwhile there. Grabbing themselves up one of those in the offense. 40 seconds left on the clock here. There, the stalling out has sort of really hurt them there, where they're running out of time. They're going to say, okay, we've got to make some sort of play. We've got to force a breach here. But with the gate coming back up, it makes it very difficult to get that entry.
Obi Howard answers back, and Ponian as well. Double kill now, 4v2. All four players on full health. Salt Shape answers back, 3v2 now, but he's on low health. But Rudy Z is still on the board. He's definitely a key star player here. Throws out a cam, might get a distraction, and manages to get a headshot for his troubles. Caught in the crossfire, might make it, but doesn't quite see the angle. 2v2 now, both on low health, but Croissant takes it, but a bunch of health and takes out Rudy as well. All left to Salt Shape. He has a ping now, but he can't find the last player. And Punyan takes first round for UniMelb Arctics.
Yeah, going off a good start. It did look a little bit worrying at the beginning with the slow entry. Of course, the Maverick falling before you could really get a proper entrance to the site there. But they were able to take it a little bit slow, a little bit steady. And at the end of the day, the tortoise does beat the hare if you're willing to be patient in that situation. So good start here for the likes of Melbourne Uni, getting that first attack run coming through. And for the most part, it looks like they're just saying, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah, very, very similar lineup. In fact, identical for the attackers. It was a very great lineup. They've brought all that utility. I'm just really surprised to see them rotate off that. I think maybe they haven't predicted this bottom floor pick. The Flores would have been so useful for clearing out that elbow area. But instead, they have chosen to bring that zero instead. As a defense heads down to a different site, looking at how the performance in that first round, I think this is a good option.
Yeah, very easy to lock that area down. I felt that the defense in that previous round, it didn't look that bad because, again, they did stall it out as you need to do on the defense. But it very much felt like even though the attack took their time, they weren't really in threat, right? They eventually found their openings. They eventually were able to force their way through and secure the site. And then the defense had to do the scramble to tighten up the defense, get back onto site. So now, obviously, working out of seeing Shape just going on an exploration mission at this point there to destroy some hatches.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a top floor roam presence from Salt Shape, and especially with that Aruni punch, he can rotate very, very quickly. And it makes opening up that meeting hatch very, very difficult. Rudy Zoo and Repel also with that intel denial will make finding Salt Shape very, very difficult. And I hope this will work out a little bit better than the kind of bunker hunker down hold we saw previously on that second floor site.
Well, so far the roaming coming out of Shape is maybe going to slow everything down there as they do pick off one there. And that was the zero as well. Young has fallen as well. This offense hasn't gone exactly great to begin with here, as we're seeing Rudy is low, but he's got those pest control out. Shape is still being just a nuisance on the back end, and the offense a minute down and then not in a better position than when they started.
That was a great early 2 picks there, really hammering and punishing UniMelb for that poor drone work. Drew, however, will be able to trade one back onto Rudy Zoo. A little late, but better than never. Croissant, in the meantime, holding this angle, waiting for Salt Shape to rotate back. But he does get... not Salt Shape, but it will be Borky Bork, also on a roam, who does get caught out. However, Croissant will finally find Salt Shape for his troubles. Is taken down low, but that's all the roamers down, and a minute and a half to work with. Repel, however, pushes back up, gets 1, makes it 2. Aggression pays off as that's Diffuser and 1 player remaining to get this last one. He does answer back though, 1v1, triple kill now. It's all up to Fluffington, and Drew is just better. A headshot, and he clears it up. A second round for UniMelb Arctics.
What a move from Drew. I believe that's 4 under their back pocket that round. What a recovery on... And it started really, really poorly. You lose 2 members. You haven't really even gotten downstairs there, and the roamers were making your life just a living hell. But a good recovery, catching out, what the roamers one by one by one, and then just really good gun skills, obviously, from Drew to take that position there. As taking a look at the lineups for round number 3, and the Dokkaebi never mind. The moment I get excited about someone being locked in, they immediately get swapped out.
Back to his Maverick. I'm not surprised that he did very, very well previously. And of course, makes opening some of these hatches a lot easier, especially without the Habana on the board. Similar lineup being brought from UNSFW. We, you know, at the end of the day, it wasn't a terrible loss. It was actually going quite well. And, it was just the fact that Drew managed to pick off so many players that really cost him that round. If they had perhaps managed to rotate Bork back a little bit down earlier, and if Repel and Fluffington had been able to play those crossfires at the end, that could have been a different story. So, nevertheless, they will be heading back to this site, and we'll see whether we see a repeat performance for UniMelb or whether UNSFW will be able to take their first round.
Yeah, from the likes of UNSW there, you're looking at that last round and you're more so looking at just a few little misplays is what hurt you the most there. It wasn't a matter of, the idea didn't work out entirely or anything like that. Your roamers got picked off in quick succession. I believe they dropped him about 5 or so seconds of each other, which then just meant the offense could just focus on, okay, we know where your anchors are. We know where we need to move in. And of course, we saw exactly how that panned itself out as UniMelb looking, once again, taking a little bit slow, poking around, saying, okay, we know you're going to have roamers. We need to find those before we're allowed to make any sort of movement against that bomb. And roamers here, fluffing on that second floor here on the Valk cams, just really has to hold the ground. And yeah, they've been spotted out. They got to get in the move.
Valk is playing this roam game, and he does have so much information to work with. He can spot even those drones early on and just force the attackers to have to deal with him head on. He's already fallen back, but Huang is still looking for him. All these players committed to that top floor and roam clear when there isn't in fact anyone there, and I think that's a very clever play. The roam worked out very well. It was just that they lost a lot of players on it. So now, if they can manage to have the same effect without losing the players, definitely worth trying. Punyan on the back stairs now, and Huang also looking to collapse onto this middle floor, just clearing out, doing the due diligence, and making sure they don't get caught out by any roamers.
Yeah, but some really nice play. I was saying some play that we're seeing some trading out. Fluffington takes down Huang. Of course, they did, lose shape in the process here. Fluffington has retreated all the way to the basement to make sure they don't lose anything too much. And so far, a 1-for-1 trade. The defense is holding strong, but Maverick is starting to burn their way through the hatches, but it's not going exactly brilliantly for offense as they lose yet another member.
And it's a great kill there from Rudy Zoo, get another, just evening out the scores a little bit more. Bork managed to pick off Drew as well. That's their key star player removed off the board, and that's still 4 players from UNSFW left on the board. Obi and Croissant remaining from UniMelb, where they will have to find a lot of players here. And with a lack of intel and time starting to tick down, they're going to have to move very, very fast. Opening up this freezer now and perhaps going for a laundry push as well. Split push here as they look to make their final execute.
Yeah, but they've got to try and speed it up. But unfortunately, with the gas coming out, it is very difficult with sensor alarms. They know exactly where Croissant's push is coming from. Teo might have a bit of a better chance of sneaking through, but given the gas there, they know they're being stalled out. They have 20 seconds left, and they have to finally make a move. They lose 1, and now Obi is on their own. They win 1, but how many gunfights can they win? Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough.
First round for UNSFW will be a laundry defense. A much-needed round just to break some of that momentum from UniMelb's, but definitely a well-fought round. One thing I did notice is that although they brought the same lineup as they did in the second round, they switched operators. This time, instead of Fluffington on the smoke, they had Repel playing the smoke, and Fluffington went onto that Valk instead of Rudy. And of course, with that shake-up, suddenly it felt a very, very different round. I felt like the timing for those roamers to fall back was a lot better. Rather than playing so aggressively, they kind of fell back when they had the chance and forced UniMelb to waste so much time and deny them the chance to get the intel. And ultimately, that led to their downfall.
Yeah, they were kind of expecting from the side of the from maybe UniMelb's offensive side, they were thinking, okay, it's probably going to be something similar. We'll find the roamers, we'll cut them down. There'll be like a minute left. We'll have time. We'll have a numbers advantage, and we can make the push. And then UNS is like, well, counterpoint. What if we pull back before we lose multiple members? I think they only lost 1 member before, the clock really started to tick down. And now, well, we'll see if there's a different style of roaming, because obviously they are now holding the upstairs, which means, is it worth committing multiple members downstairs for that sort of roaming approach? And how many anchors do you need to hold these positions? Because again, you've got a lot of intel, and of course intel denial. You've got the likes of the Mozzie, you've got your Valk, you've got your Mute. There's not a lot of ways for drones to actually find out what the hell is going on upstairs.
Yeah, it is possible for players to play downstairs and use those C4s. I see at least 2 or 3 available here, but it can be very difficult. It does expose you to the main door, which can be a potential loss there. Early engagement here from Rudy, peeking this corridor angle very, very tightly. Catches a drone, but doesn't know where that last player is. He's been collapsed on from all sides. If he gets out of this, though, he will be able to waste so much time and force the attackers to clear him out. Looks like so far he has gone away with it, but it will not be for Fluffington. Drew takes him out. One coming up the stairs is put down quickly. Rudy Zeus sees another one, gets it fragged back. Will he get a second? He does not. Punyan cleans up the refrag, makes it a 4-3 in UniMelb's favor.
Yeah, really good job there from Punyan there to collapse on Ruti after he did what was a beautiful punishment of Drew's, push down with that Maverick there. But it was a 2-for-1 trade at the end of the day. Punyan didn't really lose a lot of health in that last trade. It was seeing the hunt for the roaming continue here. Borky's like, okay, I'm just going to try to avoid being found at all costs, but I'm not so sure he's going to get out in one piece. With 0 cameras, with poking around on the outside, we're seeing from Punyan at the bomb site. How long can you run away? Because a minute and a half, I'm not sure they're going to give you that time.
Yeah, at this point in time, the defenders are really going to be hunkering down. I mean, as that time ticks on, of course, that smoke will be stronger and stronger. I'm not even sure if they've opened any of these key walls yet, and Croissant is the only one left. But with those mutes jammers still on the board, it's going to be very, very difficult, and it's going to funnel these attackers through here. But never mind, Repel takes out Punyan as Obi actually makes a push here. He does not care at all. Takes out Borky Bork, makes a 3v2, takes out the cam as well. I'm just surprised that intel wasn't there given to Borky Bork. 2 players left, 1 very low. Shots being traded out now as Hwang looks for this early kill. Obi is taken very low, but does take out Repel. However, she will trade back. Hwang, 1v2 with Croissant. Salt Shape on full health. Plant is going down now. His Salt Shape's going to have to make a move here. No fake here. Can't find it, but he will get shot. Has to fall back now. Plant goes down. Now looking for at least 1 player to kind of even this up. Peeks the door. Sees a clone, but manages to get 1 by accident. Now he's looking for that rotate, going through master bedroom, trophy side, looking for this last player. He's holding tight angle. Will fall back, maybe go for a fake. Could go for the defuse here, but he has 20 seconds left now. Starts get defusing. Pros, do they ever fake? Oh, he has actually caught on now. We will be rotating through the trophy. No, just biding his time. 17 seconds left. He has to make a move. It's now or never. Sort Shape pushing up, but doesn't quite see him. He's in a tight corner, and attackers. UniMelb will take another round in a breathtakingly close 1v1.
And an impossible situation here. You can't commit to the defuse because you're going to get shot. You can't commit to trying to kill the roamer because they're going to have the angle on you when you have to make the play on them. So you're stuck in an impossible situation where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, which is super heartbreaking to witness if, you're a fan of the defense there. But of course, Melbourne Uni sitting at 3 rounds to 1. I've got to be pretty happy about how that has all turned itself out as, wait, please tell me we are getting a clash. Again, I get super excited about seeing stuff like Clash and Monty because I'm a filthy Shield player. And then the moment I get excited by it, it just gets taken away from me.
Yeah, you see, it's called the Castle's Curse. You never get excited about things, right? Before this, I got excited because I thought we might be seeing Chalet, and the moment I said it, they banned Chalet. So, just don't say anything, and maybe next time. Maybe, But maybe it will be a first floor meeting kitchen site. This is the preferred tertiary site. I'm just, of course, with that second floor not working and the basement still being locked, they will be forced to go to a tertiary site here. It is very powerful though. You do have all that vertical option. You can hold for kids and the attic to hold onto both these pop sites from upstairs. So we definitely will be seeing plays upstairs as well. And of course, with the amount of time that we've seen roam clearing taking, it could really put a dent in UniMelb's plans here to make to take this particular site.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key thing here is how much time can your roamers buy? Because your defense on the site is going to be pretty solid. I mean, you're rocking a castle. That's not exactly easy to get through unless you're willing to commit your hard breach of the ace onto them, which, yeah, you're going to do. But it means that ace needs to be protected in those situations. Obi trying to find something. Of course, his camera didn't even last a second when it got thrown in there. But then look at the other stalling tactics they're bringing to the table. The Irani basically walls, if you want to, I call them walls at least, as well as the Melusa traps, all waiting if you can actually get past the roaming squatters. Speaking of the roamers, Borky and I think that's Rude as well are hiding behind this wall. And Drew, he's got his torch out, but I think he has to be a little careful as well because someone is definitely waiting on the other side as you see the bullets already start flying through.
Yeah, this is part of their big tower take into attic. Kind of one of the key positions you need to be taking. If you don't clear out the top floor, there's just no way you can take this particular site. But it will only be Borky up here all by himself, and he's got all these players collapsing in on him. Oh, sorry, I misspoke. Rudy Zoo is there to back him up, but so far, with the wall still closed, it's kind of a slow entry into this top floor.
Yeah, and that's kind of, again, in one way that's good because it means you're taking your time, you're scouting out, you're not going to get flanked by Romans, which we all know is a death sentence just waiting to happen. But the more time you spend dealing with the Romans, losing your drones to them, the slower everything becomes, and then it becomes the time crunch that we've all felt. Where you're like, oh crap, we've got 40 seconds, we've got to actually start making progress on the point because, well, you lose members like that, it's a little bit rough there. As three members of UniMelb will drop in the blink of an eye.
Rudy Zoo, he's known for being a great player, and he will take 3 players with him to his grave as Quiswant finally takes him out. And that is the top floor control ceded to UniMelb, but yes, it is. But so much time wasted. Borky also has gotten away with his life. He's actually managed. Is he still in attic? I'm not quite sure. I think he has fallen through that hatch now. So a lot of time wasted. This extended hold taking not just 3 players, but almost a minute, 2.5 minutes of the attacker's time.
Yeah, and now we're just seeing, of course, I'm poking around the roof. There does get Borky, but it's cut down, and he had the diffuser as well. So Shakedown plays defense here. We're seeing Pan walk up, but is not able to win that gunfight.
It's a much better showing from UNSFW here, definitely holding onto this top floor with their life, and of course off the back of the entries, Rudy Zoo and Sort Shape as well. So evening out to a 3-2. They're going to be hoping for a 3-3 at best here. Oregon is usually considered a defender-sided map, so you do want to get more rounds on defense under your belt. Unfortunately for UNSFW, the best they can do here is a 3-3 split, which is unfortunate considering they do have to go onto the attack on the next round.
Yeah, a bit rough, so they need to see what they can get out of this one here. They're looking to swap out the Iranu, and they're going to take a Vigil for now. So maybe weakening their anchor defense, but with the likes of a Vigil on the roam duty, it is going to be so difficult to feel safe when you make that play. And now you've got to spend more time clearing out. And yes, you do have a Lion as opposed to the Sophia that Ponin was rocking earlier. But when you're getting Lion Scan, if memory serves, Vigil doesn't really care about that, and neither does anyone in anywhere of Rudy's, Newt Jammers.
And that's right, really leaning heavily into this roam game and this extended hold. It's definitely worked for them. We saw it work on that base on the first basement round they won, and of course on that last meeting kitchen round. So I'm not surprised that they've chosen to lean into this a bit more. And of course, UniMelb with some great counterplay. They have read into this as well, and they have chosen to bring that line to just make these roams a little less effective and make flushing them out a little bit easier, because after all, it has been the pain point so far of UniMelb's attack.
Like bringing the line, I actually maybe get the sense, and this is maybe just the small brain now, is where you could actually just sort of try and rush the objective. Like, don't worry so much about clearing the flanks, and then when you press the go button to engage, drop the Lion Scans. That means if any of those roamers are poking about, you'll see them coming a mile away. Is a potential option here from Melbourne Uni. We'll, of course, have to see how confident are they there. As you see Shape holding an angle there through the wall, seeing is anyone going to be too cheeky enough to poke their way through. But so far, the answer appears to be no.
Big tower take here. You do need to clear out this big tower in order to go down those back big tower stairs with your construction player. But there is a rotate into attic, and UniMelb are very, very well aware of this. They're looking to clear out this player, and they have done it. Wang takes out Sort Shape on the Vigil for no damage done as well. Fluffington as well takes a lot of damage now. He is forced to fall back, and he's a bit of a difficult position here. He can't really make it back through to the freezer, so he's going to have to rotate all the way through kitchen and potentially through a lot of enemy contact here. But for now, he will be safe as Wang has decided to slow down and try to search him out before engaging.
Yeah, but the slow from the offense now is great. You got a minute and a half, and you've dealt with the primary roamer. Sure, Valkyrie is going to be lurking around in Fluffington's hands, but with Shape's Vigil dropping early, it is a very difficult situation. Seeing Borky is playing with fire here as Huang actually picks up Fluffington. So that's now the Valk and Vigil having dropped, and no damage at all being dealt by either of them means that the attack here is going to be that much easier.
1 minute left on the clock. 1 minute is all UniMelb have to work with. Repel will answer back onto Wang. Finally, an answer back for the two teammates that were fallen. But will it be enough? After all, UniMelb still need to make the actual drop, and this basement site is usually more of a hunker down and hold type of play. Rotate now coming out into the con site. So finally, they are choosing to go for this con, but Borky playing very aggressively, almost gets his head taken off, but we will finally be fallen, and a bum rush right through the back of this site.
Yeah, and with the Lion as well, there's no real easy way for Repel and Ruti to hold this one. I say that, never mind Ruti decides the Caster Curse is going to work in his favor. 3 under his belt here, and Repel is ready to go as well. Of course, he has 1 smoke charge available, and just Ruti with 4 kills under his belt. What a turnaround after the Romans just were not able to deal any damage.
Well, when in doubt, just ask Rudy to kill everyone. He got that nasty 3k as those players just lined up one by one, pushing it against him one by one, and he just dropped them all. No chance there. Rudy Zoo on 12 and 5. Look at that. Gee, that was a way to go. Finish off that last defensive round. UNSFW taking it 3-3 now as they go on to their very first attacking round.
Yeah, and they've got to be pretty happy with that one there. Sure, you may not be too happy that, hey, we only won 3 rounds there as defense, but after the last couple rounds there, you've got to be pretty happy with some of what you're dealing with coming into your first round as offense. And I have a feeling, looking at the operators they're bringing, the Sledge, the Hibana, that they're planning on going pretty deep with those double breaches ready to go.
Yeah, look, even though they, as you mentioned, they were only, it's 3-3 at this point. The important thing is, I believe they won 2 out of those last 3 rounds. So able to kind of break up that momentum a bit from UniMelb and to keep some of their own momentum going. That's really, really important. And it's definitely going to be a great morale booster going from, a losing position on the defense to managing to kind of bring things back and go back to being on an even footing. That's definitely going to be really helpful for UNSFW. And UniMelb definitely now have the chance to prove themselves as well, starting afresh on defense on a map that they have picked as well.
And they must be feeling pretty confident against their map of choice coming through here. So they've got to be hoping that they come out on top in this one, as the offense obviously is going to kick off in its standard approaches. Of course, Sophia is just sort of going to go barreling headfirst into it. And interesting use of the Hibana just to really open up the main entrance here, and seeing as each member does start poking around, making sure, again, it's the hunt for the roamers, right? That's all this first couple minute is just, okay, who's on the move, who's roaming around there. And the Jaeger and Hyung is having a pretty... He's setting up a tent. He's getting the campfire going.
Yeah, 3 players on site and 2 off offsite, but they don't look like they're in the right position. Oh, here we go. Repel with the Flores drone. Oh, can't quite make it through that window. Is a little bit stuck there and will give away the position of that drone. But so far, it's looking like a master bedroom, an armory take, and no players actually underneath from that small tower. So far, the two roamers not in a position to be able to kind of really have any influence.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a pain when you are the roamer in this situation. But it's that forever game where you know that if you don't get cleared out properly, then you're going to be in a great position to flank the others. And again, we talked about before, flanks are just the end of it all. As the Habana breach coming through here, of course, being Bork charging head first at the problem, seeing okay, what can I find? But so far hasn't been able to really find any of the defenders, and well, another breach comes through, but again, there's nothing coming through here for the attacking UNSW side. There's a minute basically to go, and they haven't really been able to get much. Sure, Repel is actually pretty damn hurt for the cause as well.
Yeah, and of course, as the time ticks away, it will be towards the defender's advantage. Obi will be the first to find a pick onto Fluffington. Rudy Zoo now looking to retrade, get that pick back, but can't find the angle. Not sure where this last player is. Does get a ping, so the grenade does come out. Unfortunately, the player has already moved. Obi makes it a second onto Bork. A double for his efforts and closes that gate as well. So even more time wasted. Rudy Zoo will have the diffuser, and he does manage to get into the closet now. But he does not manage to hold that position, as he does not manage to push this player out. Punyan makes another one as Sword Shape falls as well. 5v2 now. It's all up to Repel, as a triple kill from Obi means only 20 seconds left for Repel to make this round.
Yeah, and Repel's is gonna be getting all of them now, because now, unfortunately, a flawless one comes through there, and Repel, in an impossible situation, has to make a breach, but doesn't know where anyone is, and is on their own as a Flores. Really difficult situation, and a brilliant hold on the defense there, where the attack just sort of stalled out really before it began. There was a lot of poking, a lot of slowly breaching in, but the defense held the inside, said, okay, if you want to commit, we've got roamers, and there didn't feel like there was much of an attack on those roamers.
Yeah, I think they were just waiting for those roamers to kind of come back onto site. They knew they didn't have to deal with them just yet, and they could kind of cut off the site in half by opening up that closet wall and then pushing through Trophy into that games room. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to make that work, of course. Bork taken out by that player in games, and so was Fluffington, and Rudy Zoo not able to get that refrag as well. So ultimately, it was just a very, very well hunkered down defense, especially that games player who just made it so difficult for UNSFW to attack. UniMelb will be a man down now, as Drew is suffering some technical issues, I believe. That's one of their star players gone, but not to worry. Obi, of course, on 9 and 6, doing very, very well for himself. And of course, the other players, no slouches themselves, also on that scoreboard and bringing lots of critical utility. So still workable. We have the Goyo shields. We have all the grenade catches available as well, and some intel denial. So, not entirely undoable.
Yeah, it is pretty difficult, but it is doable. Like, we've seen crazier things throughout the course of multiple games. So we'll see how that takes itself again with the Goyo on. I must say, I love watching Goyo, man. It's great to see just the entire area turn. It's like, hey, we're thinking of entering this area, and then the entire area is just on fire, and you're like, I see. That's no longer an option on the table. So seeing a little bit of defense is being shored up here, as again in the 4v5, UNSF are just sort of taking it slowly. There's no need to force this one here. You know that there's the potential chance of a roamer is significantly decreased. There is one, Punyan, but it's still significantly decreased to what it could have been given. Again, a man down, you need to use that to your advantage.
Yeah, Bork and Sword Shape now looking to clear out this Goyo player, but they're not aware that he has actually exited this small box already. He is at the top of those freezer stairs. If they look the wrong way, they could be punished. Punyan, of course, also supporting from the laundry stairs, but Obi will be falling back now. His position has been given away and his job done. Time wasted. Minute 45 remaining on the clock, and all 4 players now safely back on site, except for Punyan, who does go for that peek. Fluffington does take a bit of damage, but at the end of the day, both players get away with their lives.
Yeah, get away from there. But Punyan is worse for wear out of that one. Obviously losing a bit of a half health, where the Hibana in at the hands of Fluffington is still looking pretty healthy, as the attackers taking their time and again not really wanting to make any mistakes coming in when they do eventually hit that basement, going on just I won't say an excessive ensuring that there are no roamers, that there isn't any flank coming out of nowhere here. And it looks like now, with a minute left on the clock, they will start to make their play downwards. Of course, we are taking a look here from Shape, who's making some sort of opening on a tower there, and Fluffington, of course, on the Hibana, making their breach with Bork as well.
Will be a big tower and freezer take. So they have foregone the laundry stairs, though they have opened the hatch just to add a little bit more pressure here. Borky Block, leading the charge here as Rudy Zoo starting to rotate and to get into position. With 30 seconds left on the clock, they're going to have to make this execute quick. There is a player, however, playing close to the bomb. I'm not sure if they're aware of that. And with the drones jammed as well, Borky Block could be caught in a nasty crossfire here from that laundry and also from Punyan here. He is boosted, however, and Rudy Zoo actually on the freezer stairs I spoke to soon will be looking for those crosses, but Croissant gets one onto Fluffington. Borky Bork answers back. 3v4 now, but 11 seconds now. They're going to have to push. Obi already holding this angle. Croissant gets a second one onto Rudy, but Borky Bork answers back. However, he is taken down by Wang. 2v2 now. Repel and Fluffington, I believe. No, it all goes down. It's Sort Shape who will be clearing that up. 2 kills for the round, as he makes it back once again, 4v4 even round for UniMelb, Arctic, and UNSFW.
Yeah, but leaving it to the last possible second coming through there at the very end. Yeah, again, they were taking their time, making sure there was no roaming, and then when they were going for those breaches, everything got bogged down. The Goyo, flames slowed down the entire process, and suddenly, UNSFW were looking forwards and like, okay.
Especially for your elbow and freezer players. But all that has been said and done now, 4v5. So once again, UniMelb on that man disadvantage, but last time they already brought it so close. So, it's not over yet, so to speak.
Yeah, it is doable here, but pretty good start there for UNSW. Of course, Repel picking up the first kill of the round, and probably a little bit upset that they're not able to use the Flores drones as much as, because again, I've heard that Repel has got a pretty damn good Flores, but unfortunately the drones, of course, with the mutes, is just making life that much more difficult, as Shape does cut down Croissant where they stand, and now That leaves Obi Huang and Drew to hold down the Psy. And, well, Obi is doing it at a little bit of a disadvantage as we're seeing Repel's drone, and she doesn't get very far with it, unfortunately.
Bork, however, does get far with his shots. Obi Tayo falls here. Wang flashed out as well. Only 2 players left. One still holding that critical position of elbow, and both are on full health. But with all this utility dump coming in, it may be very, very difficult very, very soon now. Flashed as well, and Bork actually makes it into E-Box looking for this smoke player as well. I don't know if he knows, but Drew does find out, pulls out the shotgun, manages to down him. 2v4, that's a first kill. Drew makes it another one. And makes it a 2v3. He's definitely holding on with his dear life. This has suddenly become a lot more even. Drew, however, will take out 3, and it's even all of a sudden left all up to Fluffington and Repel. What was looking like an impossible situation has suddenly made looks so much doable now.
Yeah, we've seen Drew do some things in the past, in the previous rounds here. It is very possible that they could do it again, but Repel and Huang have to be so careful, and unfortunately Fluffington is not able to make it stand. Another one falls there. Repel picking up a double kill for herself there. Huang now the last member alive. Will they be able to play the defense?
12 seconds left, 10, counting down out. May have been caught by the audio, but unfortunately does not see him. Pre-fires, but Repel is just faster on that trigger. Takes out that last player in what would have been an amazing upset if UniMelb had won that. From a 2v5, bringing it to a 2v2, 2v1, and a 1v1. That was a round to behold, and UNSFW are going to be thanking their lucky stars in order. Oh, that was too close for comfort for both of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that is now the second round that UNSFW has won by what I think it's fair to say is the skin of the teeth, right? Like that one, like yes, you won it, but that was far too close for comfort. And the previous round where you were down to the literal last second coming through here. As speaking about coming through here, the Buck is coming out for the first time tonight, and I don't know, man. That skeleton key is pretty scary. More shotguns to the table.
I think they've read into this top floor pick here. They know they're going to be able to play vertically from underneath, so they have brought that Buck in order to kind of flesh out some of these plays from these key positions, like that hobo window, some of these shield placements, and also, of course, those kids' bedroom plays. This is another site you can kind of hunker down on. And so I think that vertical destruction that Sort is bringing with the Buck is really aimed at countering that. Of course, you still have to counter the fact that Drew is just nasty and gets a 4K, no problem. 10 and 6, he's doing the best on his team, and he wasn't even here for an entire round, and I think that really speaks to how well he's playing here.
Yeah, driving force in the lineup here at UniMelb. But it's not to say that those who are facing up against them have been slouching either. Specifically, if you can remember back when Rudy was holding down the defense there, it was pretty terrifying what they were able to pull off now, as we're seeing Punyan on the roaming duty once again. What a surprise. And we'll see, do they get caught out? Because Shape isn't too far away from them, and we could see an early skirmish. I think Punyan has been caught out and just, forced to retreat upstairs. I think it's their best option at this point.
Yeah, overall, that's not too bad of an outcome for both teams. For Punyan, that's a bit of time wasted, and for UNSFW, that is a roamer removed from the board as well. One player actually playing in Garage here, Rudy Zoo. I'm not sure if he's aware. Wang could actually jump out and get the jump on Rudy Zoo, but so far he's just holding steady. I don't think he has the intel and maybe not the sound cue as well to make this play. So for now, he will just be holding steady as Bork and Sort Shape look to cut him off.
Yeah, but I think he knows now that some things up. Like, okay, I'm probably surrounded by people, but if you can keep that position and hold it relatively safely without getting, collapsed on and killed, it's a brilliant flank position there. As we're seeing the rest of the team, it looks like they are prepping to make a move on that second floor. Rudy is powering their way upstairs, and Bork is, poking around, seeing, okay, is anyone peeking? Is anyone not giving the respect of being careful? Of course, Rudy maybe a bit aware that something may be going on. Oh, no! went for a play, but unfortunately was not able to draw the gun up in time. And now actually Shay picks up a second to boot with the buck.
Yeah, that vertical play coming in to punish those defenders in those held down positions. And then just a bit unfortunate, I would have to say, for Wang there, just getting caught on that rotate. Obi taking a lot of damage as well. He is playing very close here, plays aggressively, almost takes out one player, Fluffington, on this breach here. But unfortunately, both players will just be forced to kind of hold and wait. Of course, it has to go that way. Siege timing, and Fluffington goes down to an unfortunate round. Drew makes it another and evens it out 3v3 now as a health pools as well. Both these teams on very even ground.
Yeah, I'm seeing Rudy. He's like, okay, I need to make a play for that bomb, but you know, even with the elevation, oh my god, Shay picks up another, and Repel! She stabs Punyan in the neck, takes him down, and now Repel not done with just one kill in their back pocket. Only one member left alive, Drew. I mean, I've seen crazier things, but I don't know if Drew is going to be able to recover this one. Okay, I regret saying a single word, loses most of his health, takes out, oh my god, no way does he do this! With a shotgun, and he wins it!
Oh my goodness, a 1v3 situation, but Drew shows that it is not over until it's over. As attackers peeking one by one, they can't quite get the timing together. And Drew able to hold on to that diffuser and the round for dear life. 5v5 now, as UniMelb and Arctics and UNSFW tie it up.
What a recovery there from Drew. He's got to be in a great mood right now. And if you're on the UNSFW side, you're going to be a little bit frustrated about how that ultimately panned itself out there. You had the numbers advantage there, and unfortunately, much like the ants go marching in one by one, they just were not able to lock Drew down well enough. The recovery evening up the scoreline and putting UniMelb in a better position, honestly. Like, they were struggling on the defensive side, which is a little weird considering this is meant to be easier for them.
Well, after all, we did see them go onto the basement 2 times in a row and then, of course, lose both of those. And in fact, both times they've gone onto the second floor, they have been able to win quite handily. That first time, of course, was a flawless round. Second time, okay, maybe not so handily. It was very, very close. But yeah, looks like basement just is not their site, and the second floor is really where they would prefer to play. Which is now why I'm a little bit concerned that they have chosen to go onto this basement site. I'm wondering whether their pool is deep enough to go onto some of these tertiary sites, like that meeting kitchen site that we saw UNSFW bring out when they were in trouble. I feel that UNSFW now have a really good handle of how UNIMelb plays this basement site, and it's just maybe not such a great option to go onto that again.
Yeah, but in this situation, they're thinking to themselves, well, it's something that we're comfortable with, and you have to then value, well, do you play something you're uncomfortable with that maybe could throw them off, or do you play something that you are comfortable with? Because obviously, UniMelb has had a little bit of practice with this side. I mean, they're specifically locking in the double denial of a Goyo and, of course, the smoke that gets locked in every time on this particular site. So it's clearly something that they're like, okay, this can work. We can make it work. We're just mis-executing it. And I think, I mean, if you miss execution, you might as well just keep giving it a crack until it eventually works, right? Like, well, at least that's the hope coming in to round number 11, as the droning does continue as always, trying to see who isn't exactly holding down the site.
All clear coming out from UNSFW, clearing out that second floor, making sure there are no players there. Minute and 10 seconds used up. Haven't quite removed this back tower stairs player, who just actually falls back just as they go for that drone intel. So no harm done, but no lives lost either. UNSFW now looking to make their way onto site and start prepping for some of this map control. Borky already down these freezer stairs, looking at that boosted spot as well. But it may actually be a crouch player who takes his life away. He's just crouch walking through there, watching for those pings, and he's got his crosshair held there. But so far, no luck. Haven't been able to find anyone quite just yet. Yeah, Crosshair's just hovering over. Both players crouch. Probably know that they're Wang probably less so. Oh! Catches his butt out, but does not get the shot. Pings out, look over there, please, there's someone here. But no, he will finally go down.
Oh, no,
and
the
it will be a florist strike. Oh
Oh, the best way to go is like, hey, Rebel, I've got something for you. Happy birthday! It just gives them the easy detonation coming through. As that the push comes through, Borky picks up another one for the team. There are multiple members now missing for the defensive side of UniMelb, but Borky says, no, I'll grab me a second one. Now, Obi did grab Borky on the back end of that, so it was a trade. But now, with a 2-1 advantage, UNSF is looking pretty dominant, but Punyan has something to say about it.
Of course, last time we saw something like this, the defense still won. So it never... See? Exactly, like that. It's a caster's curse. You can't say it. 2v2 now, 1v2 now as Drew has finally dropped, but Punyan is still alive. Diffuser actually going down now. This is a good play here. And Punyan is forced to go for this play, and Repel finally manages to catch him out, and it will finally be a UNSFW attacking victory.
Yeah, they've got to be pretty happy with that one there. The slow push through the freezer, which ended pretty hilariously. At least if you're from our point of view, it ended in a pretty exciting way there, with Repel getting a Flores drone kill. So she's going to be pretty happy with that one there. And yeah, grabs Flores immediately. It's like, all right, let's try it again. Let's see if we can make that one work once again. As it looks like they are taking what you were saying into advice here. Okay, basement isn't working out, kids isn't working out exactly. Let's give the kitchen a crack and see if we can make that one work.
Yeah, this, in competitive, you really have to be able to play more than just two sites. You need to be able to have a full rotation of maps of sites to play, and you need to be consistent at them. You have to do it twice for each one. And so far, we haven't seen, UniMelb play any other site apart from those top two. Of course, that was the same, actually, with UNSFW. They only played Meeting Kitchen once, and the other times they played the basement and the second floor. So, we're seeing a bit of a repeat here. Whether UniMelb will be able to repeat those results and also get a win, or whether UNSFW will take a 7-5 victory against UniMelb on their map pick, we're so close to finding out. And what better way to find out on a completely fresh site that neither team has seen yet. And so they can really have to be able to adapt and to each other's play very quickly.
Yeah, and if you're on the side of UniMelb, maybe you're kicking yourself a little bit, because again, this was their map choice. Of course, with UNSF picking themselves Villa, which of course will be the next round, meaning that it will put them in a bit of a disadvantage, you'd think. Not winning their selection of map here, as we see the breaches coming through. The roam game is pretty heavy, as is usual. Punyan, and I believe that's Obi hanging out on the top side of Borky. Quick to find one of them out, says, okay, we're definitely dealing with a little bit of roaming as always. And even the gates going up on the top floor, just to make, protecting those roamers that much easier.
Lots of entry here onto the top floor, especially with Borky and Rudy as well, and supported by those Flores drones. Oh, Punyan there caught out, forced to rotate. Beautiful play there. Sword Shape catches a rotating player, but Obi will be able to answer back onto Rudy Zoo. Both star players here, and Punyan, I think, yes, Punyan still looking. Nope, Obi's still looking to do damage, but Sword Shape once again catches that player rotating. That's a brilliant use of those Flores drones and setting up those crossfires. When Flores came out, we were saying how powerful Flores will be, and that once again has proved the point. Minute and a half, and UNSFW already has top floor control in a 2v4 scenario. This could not go any better.
Yeah, they're in a great position. The only thing I think they may be a little bit worried about is the smoke waiting in the wings. Drew, he's done some spectacular things this series already. I'm not going to put it past them to try and do another insane recovery, but it is going to be very difficult. And speaking of them, they will catch out Repel as through the vertical game there, and a brilliant start of the defense now. But with a minute left on the clock, UNSFW, I say they can take their time, but Borky falls as well, and suddenly what was an advantage, what was a 4v2 has now devolved into a 2v1 against Fluffington, who has to fight for their lives and trying to cover multiple angles at once.
Drew and Wang playing this very cleverly, not peeking out unnecessarily. They will be looking to peek together to take this fight or listen for the diffuser. Fluffington is waiting now in the wings. If he can bait out at least one player and then go for the kill, he might have a chance. Catches one, sees one. Will he be able to find it? Not quite. Goes for the chase, but it will be Drew with the shotgun from around the corner. And what was looking like a dire situation, I said it before, it was the best situation they could get. Drew and Huang have evened it out to a 6-6 overtime.
Yeah, this is what they were hoping for there. The chase down, unfortunately, in close range, shotgun does typically beat assault rifle. All it takes is a single slug to the chest, and that will get you dropping. Now it's overtime to see who will be able to get a good move on to the likes of Oregon. Of course, UNSFW. Maybe a bit frustrated here, but okay, I'm not going to get baited by that Ella. I'm not allowing that to happen again, because every time I get excited by something, it gets flipped out into something else, which is a bit more standard. So this time the Ella is going to get swapped out for Punyan. Yeah, there it is, the Mozzie.
Hey, Ella isn't exactly a new play here in AEL. We have actually seen a famous player going by the name of Owen, or also Pronwin, with the Ella shotgun, especially in that master bedroom with the shield on that bed. It can be very, very difficult to push out. But it will be the more standard Mozzie who is brought out onto the board here. Lots of intel denial being brought here, both the mute jammers and the Mozzie drones. And it's a usual lineup here from UNSFW. Note that this is the second floor site, and UniMelb have so far won this both times. So will UNSFW be able to get an upset here, or will UniMelb continue their unstoppable streak on this site and take a match point to their advantage?
Well, so far, history tells us who's going to go coming out on top here, but UNSFW does look to reshape history, if they will, attacking it from multiple sides, saying, okay, we know where they're holding, we need to find a different way to tackle this, because each time they've tackled it, it just hasn't worked out in their favors. Making sure they don't get peeked out here. Borky's like, okay, I'm just not going to let any shenanigans come out from there, but so far it doesn't look like there's needing to with the defensive hold, and it doesn't look like anyone other than Punyan is actually roaming around.
Again, this is one of those sites you can play from below, or you can choose to just hunker down here. I'm surprised they haven't bought the buck, because that worked so well last time. Flores, though, actually getting some use here and managing to take out some utility as well. As it's clear, starting to come in from the master bedroom and also from this the big window side. Mute jammers will be taken off, though. Borky Bork taking on solo health, but it will be the wall starting to be opened up here by Fluffington.
Yeah, it's actually very frustrating. Fluffington actually isn't allowed to detonate the button because the mute jammer is actually still up. The Flores drone wasn't able to catch it, which makes the offense just that much harder. So we're seeing OB on the visit there. But now, with that roll, have they managed to get the jammer? Okay, no, they still haven't gotten it. That's the most frustrating mute jammer in existence right now.
Right, so usually you put it in the middle to get both, but rather than going for efficiency, they have gone for sneakiness, and looks like it's snuck very, very well. Repel jumping in that drone into that window may actually finally get that wall open, but it's a minute left on the clock. Oh, jokes! It actually got caught on the window. Oh, there it is. Unfortunate. That sucked. Well, that's just bad luck. Bad luck, team. Bad luck. Maybe next time.
That is like the most valuable mute jammer I've ever seen, as Borky Bork does fall victim to Obi, and Drew will snap up shape to boot now, as this is looking worse and worse. They couldn't get the hard breaches, they couldn't get their drones in, they couldn't get the Flores explosives, and now it looks like with 2 members down, they've got 40 seconds to get into the side here. Rudy charging forwards here on this sledge. It's got to be so careful, because at any moment, someone could just be lurking and waiting to cut them down on these entrance points. And again, even if they do want to get those entrance, Obi says, thank you very much for my second kill of the round.
Repellent managed to answer back. Fluffington almost gets 1, but not quite. That 2.5, not quite working out. It's all up to Repel, but Obi ends the dreams of UNSFW of making this a quick one, as UniMelb go on to match point 8-7 up on Oregon.
And what a defensive hold we just witnessed there. That was brilliant. coming out there. But now it's their turn. It's like, okay, we failed to make the offensive work, but can we hold this site ourselves? Now, they've gone for the basement instead. So saying, okay, we're going to be downstairs. Let's see what we can hold in. And finally, the Jackal gets to make an appearance. I'm a bit curious, considering how roam heavy we have seen these two teams. The Jackal just wasn't even being touched before.
But would you look at that? It's a Kavira.
I'm in love.
Well, desperate times call for desperate measures. Sometimes you just got to go big or go home, and UNSFW are doing just that. Sword Shape bringing out the Kavira to counter that Jackal play. I'm not sure if we'll see an interrogation. It is very, very hard to pull off, especially if you have a very, very coordinated team. But if it does go down, it could be the game-changing move here. It could make or break this attack. Sword Shape definitely going out on a limb here, as the rest of the defense, mostly a very standard lineup. Do see the Wamai and also Repel on that smoke. We will be seeing an elbow hold and some mute jammers to slow down any Flores picks as well.
Yeah, the mute jammers. We've already seen what happens when a mute and a Flores butt heads. In this case, it hasn't gone too well for the Flores, unfortunately, as I think that this Kavira is going to make or break, right? Because obviously it's either going to find someone on their own and just interrogate the crap out of them, or Jackal's going to find them. And it's not great as a roamer when you hear, hey, Jackal's found you, by the way. Good luck. As Shape is, of course, hanging out upstairs, looking to see anyone who comes to try and find the other roamers. Of course, that might be Fluffington on the Valkyrie, which is very common, and as we're seeing the breach come through from Punyan on Lion on the other side.
Small tower take here, so it's going to be a freezer hold most likely. That means they do get to forego kind of this second floor area and just kind of worry about those white stairs. Of course, they do run the risk of a player dropping down from that kid's bedroom hatch, catching any player on the roam. But no, I spoke too soon. Punyan does take out Sword Shape. Will be the end of that Kavira tale.
It looks like you're just getting him from below there. And unfortunately, the Kavira, as much excitement as it brought me, was not able to have I was going to say it failed to have a really positive impact. Sure, it did buy time, right? But a lot of roamers that do that. Hell, we're seeing that from Fluffington now, as they are just poking around saying, okay, if you want to make a play, you've got to be so, so careful. And I think they're actually being dragged into gunfight. But no, Fluffington drops as well. UNSF is in a... well, not an ideal position, I think it's fair to say, losing two members and their two roamers so early on.
5v3 now. We have seen, of course... oh, never mind. 5v2. I spoke too soon. Croissant takes out Repel, and that leaves just Borky and Rudy to play here. Of course, we have seen UniMelb come back from an odds like this, but will UNSFW be able to do the same? They are being pushed quite heavily now, and with the Lion scans, it's going to be very, very difficult. Laundry and Freezer push coming down now. Borky is fully flashed. He has to retreat now. 5 plays for these players to find. Rudy Zoo is taken out by a frag, leaving it all up to Borky. Manages to get 4v1 now, looking for the kill, but Huang closes it out. UniMelb Arctics take the first map, 7-5.
Yeah, and what a close match. This hard-fought battle, I think it's fair to say. It comes up, hard-fought victory. At the end of the day, we're just seeing time and time again clutch holdouts here from Obi getting a lot of picks. And I think we have to talk about it. Drew, 18-8-5. But I think it was like 2 or 3 rounds there where he basically single-handedly said, look, I'm by myself, but I'm not losing this. You guys are losing this round. And then he just pumps everyone in the chest with a shotgun.
Yeah, so many times UNSFW had that advantage in terms of manpower, 4v2, 5v2 even. But UniMelb Arctic is showing it's not over yet. And so many 2vx, 1vx clutches. I'm just showing some of the great fragging potential from these players. And we saw on that scoreboard, both teams, 3 players over in double digits. So a lot of back and forth. It was definitely a very, very closely fought and well fought match. Definitely congratulations there to UniMelb Arctic for winning the first map, a well-deserved win there. We will be cutting to a short break now as we all need to get some rest. But make sure you don't go as we will be back very soon for what is sure to be a very exciting map 2.
And welcome back, everyone, to the AE University League. I'm Midnight, still joined by Spudoom after what was a very, very exciting fight on Oregon between UniMelb and, of course, UNSFW, which did go, I think, a little bit differently, Spudoom, than you were definitely expecting coming into the first match of our best of two.
Yeah, look, I honestly could not have expected it to go all the way 8-6 to UniMelb. Honestly, I would have seen at least UniMelb winning that a little more handedly, or perhaps my favorite team, UNSFW, winning. But I really would not have seen. It was so close. It was just tooth and nail, back and forth. There were so many clutches as well, especially from UniMelb's side. Speaking of which, let's actually take a look at those stats. Look at those 1vx's in particular. I think we do actually have 3 1vx's on the board here. Definitely a lot of 2vx's as well. So definitely insane plays from everyone. Looking at those ratings, 3 players from UniMelb on ratings greater than 1, and 2 on the part of UNSFW. And Rudy Zoo also very close to a 1 rating as well. And some great performances all around. 3 double-digit kills for everyone, for both teams. Drew, of course, the MVP here. Definitely so many clutches and, single-handedly saving the game sometimes.
Yeah, I was still thinking to the round upstairs where he just took down 3 members that charged in one by one and managed to get them the first win, of course, though. But that is only the first map, as map number 2 is waiting in the wings. Of course, that is going to be Villa. And this time it was UNSFW that did choose this particular map. So you'd have to feel like, okay, Melbourne Uni picked the likes of Oregon. They did pretty well. Like, maybe it was not as a clean game as they were hoping, but they did end up coming out on top. Now, on Villa, which is, of course, where UNSFW have said, okay, this is then I wonder what we'll be seeing here.
I wouldn't be surprised if UniMelb took out the Flores here. I mean, Flores and Rappel name a more iconic duo, but maybe UniMelbs have something up their sleeves, or maybe they just go for the standard. A Thatcher ban, of course, is always welcome. Thatcher ban, it is. Please, guys, please just ban something else.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Thatcher on the ban list is pretty standard here. Of course, UNSFW have to say, okay, well, which attacker are we just not in the mood to deal with? And it is going to be that Nomad hitting the ban list once again. And now, I think we're just going to get the exact same 4 that we witnessed earlier. Like, there's no real need to change too many things up here. So, is it the same? Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah, for once it will. For the first time, we actually see both GIGR operators removed from the board. Kaid with the Thatcher off the board would be even stronger than he usually is. So I'm really not surprised there to see him go. But this last pick will go to UniMelb Arctics, and they can really do what they want with this. Maybe they might take out a Valk, which we did see UNSFW play a lot, but it will be the Mirror taken off the board as well. So once again, apart from our standard bans, we just see a Nomad being removed off the board. And yeah, exactly the same as last time. Sometimes you hope for something new, maybe a Kavera ban, maybe a Clash ban, but this isn't Silver. This is AEL University Cup. So instead, we're going to go with the same bans and maps every single time.
Yeah, I mean, you do say, like, okay, I'm not even going to get baited. I know I can expect the bucket to make its way through here, but with the Clash, unfortunately, the Clash will get swapped out here for the Valkyrie, which we saw a ton of. And yeah, Rappel says, okay, give me my Flores.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the Flores is used here. It's an interesting pick. Instead of the Buck, especially on that top floor, you can play a lot of vertical here. Will Rappel be using the Flores drones to maybe make some vertical play, vertical holes, or will it just be used to clear out some of these players from the key positions? Mute is still on the board here, so it will be a little more difficult than usual, but there's still room to maneuver, and it is a very big map, so there's lots of ways to work with. Apart from that, we do see Valk brought on the board, used to give a little bit more intel, and lots of C4s being brought here, two C4s, as well as a bulletproof cam. So lots of intel all around to cover a very, very big map.
And that's kind of the joy, I suppose, of this particular match. It's just so big that, especially if you're going heavy into the Romans, which, surprise, surprise, we are getting a couple moving their way around. It means that the offense, the attackers have to spend so much more time actually dealing with, everyone who is skittering around the map. That means more time droning. That means more time, putting your resources into finding what is lurking around. You see Drew getting caught out a little bit. I say to be a little bit careful because he could just get swarmed. And Pinyon is actually the first one to drop shape. Says thank you very much.
There is a player close by, though. It will be, in fact, one player in trophy and one player in statuary, so close enough to support each other, and they could really put a dent into this early attack, but Borky Bob puts a dent into Drew's head. Now looking for a second now, as the pings start coming out, he will be spotted out. Rudy Zoo is actually taken out by, takes out Obi, and that makes it a 2v5 scenario very, very quickly. An early roam clear, 1 minute down, and an early man advantage, 2v5 advantage, in fact.
Yeah, and that puts real pressure on the last two members of defense here, Croissant and Hyung. They're going to have to hold some really difficult angles here because they're going to get swarmed by 5 members, and there is still so many resources available. Fluffington still has his ace charges. Of course, let's not forget the Flores drones. I think that's another one just going off then, are going to be coming out. So they've got to spend so much time worrying about, okay, where are the drones? Where are the Flores drones? Where's the ace breaches coming from? That I don't know if they're going to hold out there, but Rudy does get dropped by Croissant, which is a good start to things here. As Croissant continuing to hold that tight angle here. He's going to have to make this one work as Borky. Oh, he saw the gun. No, Borky. That's a heartbreaker.
2v3 now. This is suddenly a lot more winnable now. What was looking like overwhelming odds suddenly is just, a bit of whelming odds, so to speak. Definitely a bit of an unfortunate pick by Rudy and Borky Bork, the two entries. Hopefully they don't repeat previous games' mistakes where they kind of give away those free kills on the two when they are at man advantage. Salt Shape, however, will finally manage to pick off Croissant, and it's all up to Huang. All by himself. He's isolated from both sides, and with the vault wall open, he has very limited options for crossing. Fluffington starting to plant now, and Huang doesn't know where this plant is. All the other attackers are congregating on the other side. He will go for a wallbang, but doesn't quite find it now. Looking for a kill. Does see Repel, but Repel catches him with the pistol, and that will be the first round to UNSFW.
What a quick draw from Repel here, just cutting him down aside. It says, all right, team is planting, and it's an impossible situation. Huang you're outnumbered 3-1. They're probably in the other bomb site, but if you go and check the other bomb site, then Repel, who's behind you, is just going to shoot you in the back of the head. So you got to deal with the first problem, and Repel, she was just quicker on the draw there, cutting them down a size. As we will kick off round number 2. Don't really see a need for a swap around ban here, as it's very standard between the two teams for this second attempt here, as it will be up on the second floor. And I think this is one of my more favorite bomb sites to play defense on, personally. Maybe it's just me being
this bomb site is a little bit more free. There's more space to move around. And especially with that master bedroom side, you can actually play quite a lot of roam presence there because that's where the attackers usually push from. Of course, it can backfire on you. We did see 3 defenders actually dropped on the roam with a minute, taking only a minute to go. But of course, that's not to say it won't work again. And ultimately, it wasn't too bad. Those anchors almost managed to clutch it up. So, if they fail at this again and it doesn't work out, then yeah, maybe it's time to start reevaluating your strategy for this site and maybe even think of a different bomb site. But overall, it's still possible to make this work, and so I'm not surprised to see UniMelb take this once again.
Yeah, definitely make it. It was more so, I think, just the error of losing your roamers so early on. Although we could have another early skirmish, we are seeing Drew, and I believe that's Punyan, poking around in the same area, we are seeing Borky Bork making an entrance once again. So it could be very much a repeat of history as Punyan realizes, crap, yep, they're definitely coming, buddy. We got to be a little careful. But it does not that running. I think they want to take this straight. They want to try buy as much time as possible.
Yeah, stalling here is the name of the game. You force them to kind of waste so much time taking out your roamers that by the time they try to get onto site, they don't have time to drone out. Which is not what happened last time. They had plenty of time to drone out, and it's just quite a misplay that they lost so many players against them. But Obi will be the first to make a pick here. He does take out Borky Bork, and that's a good start, much better start compared to last time here. Repel on the Repel once again, but so far not being able to find anyone. Obi does manage, and Drew do manage to fall back with their lives here. So they will be living to fight another day here.
Yeah, and what I do quite love what they've done is they're not retreating to the site. They're retreating downstairs for a flank as well. So it makes that push when it eventually does come by the attackers just that much more worrisome because they've got to constantly thinking to themselves, where the hell is Drew working around here? Where the hell is their backup here? So seeing the slow push coming through there, 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Repel poking their nose around, not able to find anything, and it's a slow push there, finally catching out shape, but Repel does cut down Drew, so that flank didn't exactly work out according to plan.
Yeah, flanking can be a very dangerous game. You can get really great results, but you can also go really, really badly, and unfortunately, this didn't work out there. Obi and Pinion, however, still playing very, very close, and I don't know if Repel is aware of this. Pinion managed to catch another one. Rudy Zoo goes down as well, and it's up to Repel and Fluffington. Dynamic duo, or a single person now, as Repel is also taken out, leaving just Fluffington. Pinion, in this very aggressive position, ends it and makes it a round for UniMelb.
And this is what they were looking for in the last round. This aggressive move of the Romans makes every step forward when you're trying to secure areas for your attack, for your teammates to back you up. It makes it a living hell. You're constantly worrying, where's the flank coming through? Who's holding the angle? You have to fight for every inch of territory on the map. And round 1, we saw what happens when it doesn't work. Round 2, we see what happens when it does work. So now they're saying, okay, it's going to be a pain. I was going to say I love the idea of the lion, but the buck comes through for the vertical play because they're up on the second floor, which means their ankles are vulnerable from below.
Yeah, so I really want to see whether they choose to take this from the study side and do a full clear, or whether they're going to go directly underneath from laundry and maybe come up those Astro stairs and work that master bedroom directly. Of course, there is once again that mute who proved so pesky previously, and once again proving it very difficult to get intel and to open those walls. So I think they will definitely have to move underneath in order to take out those jammers. Of course, there will be Punyan as well, probably doing some damage and stalling out the defense there. And with a lot of C4s in play here, no, sorry, just two C4s in play here, it could definitely be, uneven ground for UNSFW if they step on a C4.
Yeah, you gotta be very careful because it's the moment of you see it being thrown at you. You have about 3 seconds to shoot it out of the air before your entire body is just imploding due to the explosive device. So, got to be a little careful there as we do see the attack will kick off. Now, once again, I kind of expect Melbourne Uni to just sort of do exactly what they did last round, which is make every inch that UNSFW trying to take a living hell. And Obi, I think, is starting that nice and early, just holding out these stairs here. Says, okay, you are droning me out. I do have to back away. But again, it's the stalling game coming through here where UNSFW just have to spend so much time saying, okay, where is the roamer? Where is Obi? Where the hell is Drew hiding? And the longer they can stall it out, the better things are. As you see, Drew and Obi, they haven't even backed up. They're still holding this aggressive roaming position.
UNSFW just finding it so difficult to gain a foothold into this building. Obi takes a first pick here. Borky Bork goes down, and Rudy Zoo's still outside the building. With those mute jammers and the Mozzie Pass, they just cannot get into the building. Wang makes it another 5v3 now. That's 2 picks that have gone unanswered for UNSFW, and this is rapidly falling apart for UNSFW.
Yeah, they're trying to get in, but unfortunately, the complete denial of intelligence means that there's no safe way to breach. If you breach without that intelligence, well, you die. As we're seeing Repel fall victim to Obi, 2 kills picked up this round alone. As they finally will get a kill under the belt there. Rudy has had enough, cuts down the 2 roamers here. But with the 2 roamers down, I just don't know, is that going to be enough? You are down 2 versus 3. Punyan, Huang, and Croissant are all just waiting for you at the site itself, and you just don't have enough intel. You don't have enough drones to find out what the hell's going on, especially when you just lose one to a pest.
Yeah, 1 minute remaining on the clock here, so they will have to start making a move on. And as you said, not much intel to work with and not much time. It definitely will tick into the defender's advantage. Puffington on the square window now, looking to deny any crosses, and Broody makes it into Vault, but 45 seconds, they're going to be cutting it close, and with so many players still on the board to find, and the C4's one more C4 to work with, it could really, really end very, very quickly for UNSFW. So they're going to have to play it smart here in order to make this win in 25 seconds.
Yeah, they got to make this work here. Fluffington's like, okay, we've got to commit. I may not know exactly what's going on, but I've got to get in there. Starts to push forwards. Less than 20 seconds. Rudy using which one there, but they're getting gassed out. They can't actually approach the site here because Croissant's like, all right, you're going to have to lose so much of your health pushing through. And now they're pinned at the doorway. 6 seconds left. The gas comes through. They will take Croissant down, but they just get gassed out completely.
There was just no way through that with 30 seconds left on the clock, and also all the gas grenades in pocket. There was just no denying that it was a difficult battle for UNSFW there. Did not make it through. Really able to get a 3K, but just not enough to win out the round as UniMelb take another round off a very, very strong offsite hold. That roam clear just not able to gain any foothold into this map.
Yeah, and you really have to start asking yourself, if you are on the side of UNSFW, well, what do you need to do different if they're going to continually lock you out of positions? What do you need to change up? Maybe you need to bring in a different operator to try and get in there. Well, it looks like a bit of a change up. Shape is still going to be taking access to the Buck, which isn't too surprising, but Croissant is rocking the pulse, which means there is going to be no smoke for this hold here on the ground floor.
Also, that pulse is going to be able to give intel about the players playing vertically, so it will be a bit of a counter to Sort and Rudy on the sledge, on the vertical players here. And it will be able to detect any person coming up from that freezer, from that pantry area as well. So overall, a very, very strong pick here. Definitely going to be giving lots of intel. And, you have to wonder, will UNSFW once again do this full roam clear that so far just hasn't been working? Or are they actually going to try and hit the site just straight off the bat and stop worrying about the roamers? We're very shortly going to find out as attack has just started making their way to the building.
Yeah, I really do hope that I think just for maybe one round, UNSFW needs to just sort of commit, because look at this. They are spraying through wildly. Now, yes, they're accurate by saying, yes, there is someone there waiting for them. Punyan is lurking around there, and I think he's actually just going to get straight up collapsed on, but does have Drew in backup. But the fact that, again, Punyan and Drew are just wasting, I should say, so much time from UNSFW, where, they're in no position to force the trade there. But never mind, Punyan getting caught out by Borky does make that push that much easier, because I don't think it's just Drew who's on the roamabouts.
Drew, however, will answer back and get Sword Shape. He's actually dropped down and done a nice jump out to even things out. So that will be the Buck, and the key source of vertical presence gone. But it will be the roamers cleared out. That's a relatively faster roam take and a nice flank there from Borky, but it will not be enough to get a man advantage as a Sword Shape does go down. Obi now playing close to the square, roughly about halfway through the map. I'm not sure if Borky knows is there. Ridisu still holding this angle as attackers start droning out, looking for this intel on any players who might still be upstairs.
Yeah, they've got to be careful, and they're not wrong. They were upstairs. Obi as always, on the mobile life of this Iranian. So I got my walls up. Now I'm just going to spend my entire life making any play that much harder. And now it's buying more and more time. 1 minute fast approaching on that clock. I see Borky does actually move into that, and Rudy is finally making that push forwards, but they've got to be so careful, and yeah, just using the sledge to try and get the vertical. You have it. It's no buck, but hey, you can make it work.
Yeah, but those holes can shoot back, and of course, there's this explosion, which could come out right about now. That might actually be a 2K.
Oh, no.
One goes down to Drew. Once again, Borky gone down as well. Rudy Su's still up, so they still have a chance to play vertical, but it's a 4v3 and 40 seconds remaining. They have to make things work fast. Looking now to start moving into laundry and clearing out these players nearby. Floresrone actually manages to get through, so could actually flush out some of these players. And with that vertical presence, they could make it very hard to rotate back to contest this plant. But Drew, once again, playing very, very close, falls back to Flashbang. Obi holding a long angle, so not quite in play here. Propel looking to make an entry, gets a nice kill onto Croissant. And now, finally, Flashbang's going down. Fluffington also making the push. Flashed as well, but Rudy Zoo taking this fight to Drew is taken down, but Fluffington going for the plant now. Obi, however, takes out Repel, and that's going to be it. Fluffington has no choice.
What a blitz at the end there. The stalling tactics worked rather well, I think it's fair to say there, as round 5 is now fast approaching, and Melbourne Uni have got to be pretty happy with how this has started to really pan itself out. Because again, what you've got to remember is that this was not their map pick. This is where you would hope to think that UNSFW would be doing well, but unfortunately, they are starting off on the wrong foot, with Uni Melbourne leading the charge, if you will, into their rounds of defense. As we're seeing the swap out there, it is going to be for the buck once again, and we'll see if that vertical play can work because they have returned to the Aviator in games room.
Yeah, that's a full 3-round rotation for UniMelb. Apart from that first round, where UNSFW looked like they were doing very well, it has all been UniMelb's game here. In fact, it seems like the very first round was the only blip in UniMelb's so far flawless performance. They just look so much more in control of the time, especially. That roam clear is just eating up UNSFW's time, and UniMelb are just so good at playing that roam. They're so good at being aggressive when they need to be, falling back when they need to be, and just wasting so much time. So will UNSFW once again commit to a full roam clear and risk playing into UniMelb's strengths? Or will they actually try something different? Looks like it might be a full roam clear again, and history tells us this isn't going to go well.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we also know very well what happens if you don't commit to clearing all the roamers. You're going to get flanked, and do you really want someone like Drew, like Punyan, like Obi, sneaking up behind you when you're trying to push a site? Like, that, I think, is arguably worse than trying to do the roam clear, because they will find you in ways that you're just not expecting. They'll gun you down, and you're in arguably a worse situation, because now it's not even that you've got ground to work with where you have pushed in against the roaming. Now it's a matter of you've got to deal with people coming up from all directions, as we're seeing. Propel poking in, but Obi is just not having anything to do with that one there. She's trying to get in, and she's getting some good damage down, and yeah, Obi is going to be forced to pull back and give up that area, but that is a minute of time wasted, and UNSFW has only just gotten through the door.
Drew, however, is still playing in the statue area, and he's got his SMG 11 out, 3-3 so far, so not too bad. He is playing very aggressively, it seems, and he may actually take his life with him. Borky looking for the kill, but Drew sweeps around and takes him out. Obi as well onto Sword Shape, and that's all the entries gone. Trapel finally forced to move in. Rudy Zoo looking for the peak. It looks away at just the wrong time. Fluffington manages to get one. Will Rudy Zoo finally be able to close the deal here? But that's so much utility, so much time just used on this one player. 4v2 now as Drew gets another. Fluffington finally answers back. 3v2 now. Obi on low health, so not entirely unwinnable. But once again, a heavy commit to this roam clear. has turned out for UniMelb's advantage.
Yeah, because now with only 2 members on the UNSFW side, having to make that breach, and they're not exactly the operators that you're thinking to yourself, yes, this is the person I want. Kicking open the front door here. Ace trying to get that vision down, and of course Repel with Flores. You'd rather have a Flores, poking around with the drones, which unfortunately, with less than a minute remaining, you're just not going to have the time of day to do so as they're forced to go upstairs. Of course, Vision poking around, but they know. You know exactly where Obi-Yong and Croissant are waiting. They're waiting in the wings, and that looks like one more down Repel, not able to make their way up the stairs, and it leaves Fluffington in a 1v3 stuck outside the gates.
Last charge. Oh, looks like one charge goes down to burn that gate, and now looking to get rid of that cam as well. But he's got 20 seconds and shields and utility all around. He just has no time. The opponents have all the info and all the advantage there. UniMelb take yet another round in very decisive victory fashion. 4-1 to UniMelb.
Yeah, and if you're on the side of UNSFW, all you're really got to be thinking to yourself is, okay, let's just try get at least one win under our belt, and then when we're playing the defense, we're going to have to be just as solid. That's the hope. They're coming in here with the Thermite rocking in. I do wonder though, is that going to get swapped out? It is pretty standard that they look at something cool looking, and then they get swapped out for the Ace, which is a bit more what we'd expect.
The only interesting thing here I do see is that Fluffington and Sort Shop have actually switched roles. Sort has actually brought out the hard breach and Fluffington on the Yana now as an entry. So maybe this is their way of shaking things up. Maybe they just need a bit more aggression. Or Sort just isn't doing so well, and maybe it's time for him to switch up the roles. Hopefully this will be the fresh start, as much as you can call it that, to this round, because 4-1 down, you want to get it to at least 4-2 going into that defense. This is just not a very good position to be in for UNSFW, and they know that, which is why they've chosen to make some of these changes.
Yeah, and I think, again, you're in that situation where you don't really... what have you got to lose, right? Because right now, what hasn't been working, you need to change that. You need to adapt it, and maybe if this adaptation doesn't work, then fine, at least you tried something You didn't just slam your head against the wall for the 5th time in a row. So I love the change. Hopefully it does work out for them here, as of course the defense is going to be very much the same as always. Denial with the Mozzie and of course the Mute, as we've been seeing all night. What a surprise there. As we're seeing Borky wildfiring in, saying, okay, well, let's see what vision we can get. And they're not wrong by firing in, because the 3 roamers are all just in the vicinity waiting for someone to get that little bit too close.
The combination of those Rooney Gates, the Mozzie, and also the Mute Jammers, once again, a deadly combo for UNSFW, looking for this attack, but Repel finally manages to get the first, takes out Obi now, and Bork is on this flank, watching for anyone who might try to rotate back. So this is a good way of cutting off those defenders and forcing them into the crossfire. But if they don't choose to fall back, it won't matter at all. Nevertheless, Punya manages to get away. Repel have a will and the life of Wang. So that's 2 players gone for none from UNSFW. A good start, and for the first time, they've actually made this roam clear in good time.
Yeah, they're not really stressed on it. 1.5 minutes to get down the roaming there. And yes, while Punyan and Drew, the primary roamers we've been seeing a lot of today, are still up and available, we're seeing they're actually holding site. They're anchoring down. Punyan holding on that B corridor, saying, okay, I'm pretty confident with this one. Of course, Croissant looking around saying, can he get a cheeky shot at anyone? But unfortunately, not going to be the case. And what a surprise, Drew on the roam once again. Shotgun in hand. We'll see. Actually, no, sorry. Not shotgun in hand yet, as they are looking their way around, seeing, can you catch anyone sleeping? But, oh my god, talking about catching sleeping. Shape loses a little bit of health there.
I think that might have been a bullet, or maybe... Okay, it can't have been a drone. Definitely was a bullet. Could have gone very badly. That's Soul Hard Breacher, and on this site in particular, this is one of the sites where you do actually need that hard breach. You do need to open up that triple wall into Statuary. but so far has gone away with it, and Rudy will answer back onto Croissant. One more for the books. Frag Grenade goes out, almost catches Drew, manages to get away with his life, but now is forced to rotate up Astro's stairs. Attack is funneling the defense into this Astro area, and Punya goes down as well. And now it's all up to Drew, taken down by Sort Shape, and this change, this, ladies and gentlemen, is what they needed. A flawless round to end this half 4-2.
Yeah, finally finding the openings. These changes working out in their favor. Finally getting 2 rounds in total before being swapped over to playing defense themselves. And the roaming death squad that was holding them back was honestly just super, super impressive here. And now the question will be, how effective can they run that themselves if that's the direction they want to go? So Rudy, don't tease me with an alibi. Please don't tease me with an alibi. Oh my god, it's an alibi.
Oh, and it's a chunker.
Just go!
Well, they need to bring something different to make things work, and different is what we're seeing here. Tachanka, we haven't seen him too much so far, but hopefully Sort Shape makes great use of him. And of course, Alibi with the recent 1.5 times sight on her MPX can really do a lot of damage here. So, going to see how this works out. But, of course, second floor AV Games, the usual primary pick, and Sort Shape with the big old LMG. Now that is something new. Usually you do see the 9x19 VSN submachine gun coming out, but it will be the big Decker being brought out. So Sort, you better make us proud. You better show us something cool.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the Tachanka, I'm a bit disappointed if anyone doesn't bring the LMG and just let that rip, because that's the heart and soul of the Russian warlord himself, and that and destroying everything the environment has to bring to the table. So that'll be pretty exciting to watch. Of course, it is aware from the side of UniMelb that, hey, Tachanka is out there, got to be a little bit careful, and they're bringing a pretty standard playbook. Of course, you've got the Zero to get that extra little bit of vision, and of course, Punyan on the Lion to just make life dealing with like the Fluffington on the Roam just that much easier. Now, the other thing I think is going to be super fun is, does Rudy get anybody with the the alibis? Like, that's all I really want to see. Just someone falling for an alibi clone and just getting lit up. And, well, it may not be falling for an alibi clone, but Punyan falls really early before dropping a single scan. But it is a 1-for-1 as Cohen gets revenge.
Rome is taken care of as well. What? Did Drew just walk past Fluffington? Oh my goodness.
I don't know if Fluffington knows.
All right, buddy. Okay. Well, that's a bit of a misdrone. Intel game not working out for both teams, it seems. Fluffington gets a free kill there, a freebie, and sends a C4 as well. Well, I was just saying the roamers have been taken out, but so has Drew, one of the star players here, has a bit of a misdrone, cost him his life.
It is a rough way to fall, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. You make mistakes, you got to learn from them here. As the timer tick down, halfway done, halfway to go. As Rappel having that C4, but saying, okay, is it time? Is it really the position where I can make that kind of plays? Right now, it is slowing down a little bit. The C4 coming out there, it only catches the alibi clone, and that kind of says, hey, is there an opening here? Can we make the breach work? As so far, 1 minute left on the clock, and Rappel poking around, but she's got to be so careful, because the moment she commits to that doorway, Huang is just going to light her up.
Wang also not quite sure what to do now. Both players don't see each other. This is ridiculous. What is going on with this game and players not seeing each other? Wang finally gets that kill now. Fluffington actually sneaks past that Claymore. It was improperly placed and now might come back to bite them. He's actually going for this, but he does get caught on the roamed OB now, going for the plant now. Sort unable to deny. It is too late now. Croissant holding this cross as well. Fluffington manages to get across. Will he be able to get a kill before he gets pushed back? Does find the diffuser now. Guns come out. Manages to catch one on the floor, I think. He does go down, but Huang also catches out Fluffington. Croissant finally finishes up for a round for UniMelb.
What a scrappy round, I think it's fair to say there. We've got to see a little bit of everything. We've got to see the Chachanka pull out, the alibi not working exactly as intended, and some little bits of misinformation that does end up working out in UniMelb's favor for now. But how many times can you get away with it? How many times are you going to get little bits of, mistakes like that? Hopefully it doesn't come up very often, as pretty standard coming across. Ruti on the alibi once again, unless they do choose to swap that one out. But I don't really see them needing to, honestly. These are pretty staples for everyone coming into the 7th round here over at Villa.
Well, it is a different site here. They have chosen something different. I guess after that particular loss, it is wise to do something a little bit different. And I think UNSFW are starting to pick up on that. Rather than going for the same strategies over and over again, they're starting to kind of adapt a little bit better. Will it be enough, though, to catch up to UniMelb? They are 3 rounds ahead. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Of course, UniMelb are the ones who are attacking now, and this map does favor the defenders a little bit more. But, it's still a tough battle here for UNSFW. And UniMelb definitely doing very, very well. Obi, look at him go, 10-3. First player to make double digits on this map.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty happy there. And that is partly because, just the amount of roaming we did get to see out of them. They're catching the members of UNSFW, one by one when they did make their plays forwards. Of course, now Rock on the Zero should be able to get some pretty good intel when they do start breaching. And speaking of breaching, we do see Rudy with the alibi clones looking to set up an ambush at the primary entrance point here, but gets immediately has the alibi clone destroyed and immediately gets droned out and even grenaded to see, well, are you going to retreat or are you going to try and hold here? Because you're going to be so careful with potential flank coming out. Because look where Repel is. It's backup, but I don't know if it's going to be there to help.
Well, Repel is holding this long angle, but Wang manages to get one and Obi onto Sword Shape as well. In fact, they've just bypassed Rudy completely. Rudy is still hanging out in this vault, but he hasn't been able to do anything. And now with the drone, it might be a little bit more difficult. He is spotted out, but does manage to get one kill, but his position is known and his way back is very much locked down. Repel, however, will be able to light up this player coming through that study door. Isn't able to get the kill. Goes for the peak again, quite aggressive here. And Rudy continuing to play in study. In this bar area. He's going to make it so difficult for the attackers to push him out. Repel is giving him some support, but from long range, caught at the wrong time. Punyan takes out Repel now. 4v2 as Rudy, 4v1 as Rudy falls as well.
Yeah, not ideal there. Borky is now having to turtle this up pretty badly. Does catch out Punyan. That's 2 kills under their belt. The Croissant and Drew are on the attack here. The bomb is now being planted. Borky knows. He's poking around saying, okay, what can I do here? But not able to do much as Drew stops the turnaround there and cuts them down a size.
Drew with that great cover for the planter definitely could have gone very wrong if he wasn't looking there. And in fact, I believe Borky might have just caught the tail end of that planter. But of course, with Drew barreling down that room, he was forced to take that gunfight and unfortunately just did not win it. So that will be UniMelb Arctics on 6-2 match point. A much bigger lead than before. And on UNSFW's map pick of all things. So definitely very, very strong way to finish off this round. Finish off this series if this is it. UNSFW on an uphill battle 4 rounds in a row in order to even take it to overtime. And one mistake, one round drop will mean the end for this matchup.
Yeah, well, no more mistakes. That's what we've got to deal with. And I do like the Malusi coming out as well, to saying, okay, we need to just keep buying time. We need to see what we can get working, because clearly what UNSFW are trying to do here just is not working. They struggled on the offense when they were dealing with just the aggressive roaming style that UniMelb were bringing to the table. And now on the defense, it just has not worked out here. They haven't been able to hold their ground. They get caught apart. They're getting picked apart. And while they have retreated to the particular, this setup here, I really hope they can pull it off here. And I think the Malusi could be pretty important to buy that extra little bit of time for the roamers.
Yeah, it's also going to give a bit more info, and hopefully with the pulse being brought as well, we might see some C4s going up from underneath as well. But so far, this roam game has all been about UniMelb Arctics. They've, been the one doing all the killing and all the denying. Rudy Zoo looking to change that now. Close position being played in study. I'm just surprised he hasn't reinforced the hatch to go with it. Can't quite get a shot through the barricade, but he's looking for the peak now. Oh, does he quite see it? No, he doesn't, and just misses the head of that last player.
I love what you're going for there, Rudy. Because all it takes is one person just not fully checking the corner, not doing a proper breach, and it works. That kind of play can work out brilliantly. As we're seeing Shape actually lurking on the ground floor here. It could work out because Ubi might actually just walk right into the sightlines. They've got to be so careful as we do return to Rudy. Rudy's basically locking down 3 members from entering the site right now, which is brilliant. Waste of time now. Minute down, does get caught by the lion scam, but it just doesn't matter because, well, you're not entering.
Obi actually looking to push from underneath now, but Sword Shape is on the move. Both players looking for each other. Drew will find Fluffington, and Sword Shape has just missed his timing. He's just walked past. If he peeks the wrong corner, he looks away, and Huang finds him at 5v3 now. Man advantage, double advantage for UniMelb. Drones coming out now, and Repel and Rudy both caught out. I spoke too soon. I was going to say by the Lion drone, but looks like it's 1v5 now. Borky Bork all by himself. He has a shield to work with, but will he be able to get the kill? He managed to find 1, 4v1. Has to find another 3. The plant's going down now. I'm looking for a flank. Managed to catch 1, but on the reload, has to pull out the pistol, and Obi finishes off. UniMelb Arctic 7-2 in dominating fashion take out UNSFW.
Yeah, and again, you said it before, you've really got to reiterate how dominant the Arctics looked in this particular match. They had some clutch rounds on the previous map of Oregon, that did give them the win there, but this looked like a different team. This map, it was their bread and butter, buying so much time with their roamers one by one. And when the same shenanigans were tried to pull against them, it just never could work. The roamers were just getting picked apart, they were getting gunned down, got pushed to the side, and then UNSFW were in an impossible situation where their anchors are just simply outnumbered.
Yeah, I think we have to talk about that line pick. It seems that line pick really was very effective in preventing those roamers from moving and preventing support from moving up to them. After all, we saw Rudy playing just by himself in study, and although he had some long-range support, it wasn't there all the time, and ultimately that may have actually meant that the attackers gained a little bit more control of the map, a little bit more easier. But it will not be easy now for UNSFW. They have lost 2-0 to UniMelb, which means they do have to pick up their paces against their next matchups. And if we take a look at the ladder now, we can actually see where these teams are sitting and where they need to be going next. RMIT Black, of course, winners from last season, will still be on top of the board, but UniMelb Arctics move up to a same record there, 12 points as well, with a single loss, I believe, which means they are, although technically second behind RMIT Black, still really good points. UNSFW will be on 9 points, same as Dropouts, so definitely going to be a lot of fighting for that middle spot as well, and hopefully take a second spot.
Yeah, but overall, a really good week here from Uni Melbourne. And but you're looking at that match, especially if you're the likes of Griffith, hell, even if you're RMIT Black and looking at that particular match, you've got to be worried, not only at just the way that Uni Melbourne played it, but just the fact that the roamers were buying so much time especially when we want to look at the likes of Villa. There was just so much time and space being bought by just 2 or 3 members just wasting it out. It was a really good question. Like, how do you tackle that? How do you start approaching that in terms of do you just lock in that line? Again, we looked at the line, was brilliant.
Yeah, speaking of individual players, we're going to have to take a look at the stats now and just take a look at who really shone in that map. 7-2, of course, to Uni Melbourne. Unsurprisingly, Obi at the top of the scoreboard there, 1.78 rating, 13 kills and 4 deaths. What a KD, 3.25. definitely doing very well. And unfortunately for UNSFW, no player above 1, just not their map, it seems. Looks like this will be a map that gets removed for the rest of the season, perhaps. But of course, UniMelb, I have to say, very, very well played. Just the roam game was on point, and on a map like this, definitely very, very strong.
Yeah, made it look good, made it work. And again, this was the map picked by UNSFW. They decided, hey, Villa is where we want to play, and unfortunately didn't work according to plan. Maybe there's, maybe you don't want to necessarily move on from it, but you definitely need to take another bite at the apple, saying, okay, things didn't work out. What can we fix up? What areas can we shore up? Because clearly, against this, particularly against UniMelb Arctics, it was just a different match of them there. So, a few things you can touch up, but again, it's not a be-all, end-all disaster from UNSFW today, right? Like, even if, yes, they did end up losing both maps, especially on Oregon, they actually looked really strong. And it was only a couple little things that went downhill for them that you could really point out and saying, hey, this is where stuff really went against us, such as mute jammers not being destroyed when you throw grenades at them.
Yeah, that's right. It's just the small mistakes which can really punish you. And I think UNSFW are going to go back and look at those, especially those scenarios where they had that man advantage and they still managed to cut it very, very close, or even lose to some great clutches, of course, from UniMelb. So with that, that will be us for tonight. It has been great fun casting with you and great fun watching these maps. It was just insane. Obviously, my prediction didn't come true, but I can't say that I'm very, very sad about it because it was a great map, a great series to watch anyway. So with that, we will be seeing you and catch us next week for another exciting game of Rainbow Six Siege. And with that, good night.